In a world in crisis, can three idiots find hope in the darkest of places? Will love conquer all, or will hate win out in the end? This is a show called Hate.
Hello and welcome to A Show Called Hate, a podcast in which we explore love, hate, and everything in between in search of greater meaning and perhaps a little perspective. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
And I'm not looking. Just whatever.
No, I think it's probably better that you don't look in the name of faux professionalism.
Look, you wouldn't do this. You wouldn't do it if we were in the room together.
Oh,
Yes.
I would.
Yes, we would.
I would and have and will again.
You do a lot worse, actually. Many a time you've just been brandishing a knife,
Yes.
Yeah.
stabbing it repeatedly into your thigh.
It's a shame that I'm not a physical threat as much as I used to be.
Or at all, even.
Or at all, yeah. Behind a computer monitor.
Yeah, no. What I thought you meant like I thought that was like a real kind of Christmas Carol, Three Ghosts sort of thing, where you're like, I'm not as threatening as I used to be, and I'm like, what happened? What changed?
Christmas.
Oh, yeah. No, I just got locked in my house, that's all.
You do that a lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's really like that time when you were a younger man and you got locked in your toilet.
Yeah. Well, that happened twice, and I wasn't that young.
Well, in many ways, that could be seen as like training for the global pandemic and the lockdown.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not claustrophobic or anything, which is just as well, having got locked in really small toilets twice.
Yeah.
So no, I've been fine from that point of view. I've certainly not been feeling claustrophobic. I've been feeling a lot of things over the last year, and claustrophobic isn't one of them.
Yeah.
So cheers.
Yeah. Great.
Can we stop dodging the issue at hand, which is what we were about to dive into off air, and then we were like, this is too hot. We've got to turn the mics on.
Oh yeah, we said let's press record, otherwise we're going to miss this gold.
Yeah.
So, Chris Ray, enough bullshit. The people need to know what milkshake did you have the other night?
I had a Cadbury's caramel milkshake. And it was delicious.
Let's set the scene here. You had a takeaway. You had something to
We
celebrate.
had a takeaway because obviously with the restrictions lifting, it's good news for our wedding, which is scheduled for late July.
Huzzah.
So happy days.
Indeed.
So we thought, let's drink a bottle of champagne and buy a massive takeaway, as you do on a Monday night.
As you should do, if anything.
So we went to a local burgers and shakes emporium.
Oh, what are they called?
I believe they're called Burgers and Shakes.
Okay, right.
And we ordered the burger and shake.
Oh, right. I wonder, are there many other options on their menu? Or is it...
Well, not any that I want to know about.
Exactly, yeah. So you got yourself a burger and a shake.
So I got a burger and a shake, and it's basically anything you find in a sweet shop. They make a milkshake out of it.
Oh, right.
That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, because
it probably is.
I worked in a sweet shop for a bit when I was a younger man, so I have quite an excessive knowledge.
There was a place I went in Bath, I think, and it might have been a milkshake place. I can't remember. Anyway, it had a flavour of everything you could possibly imagine. Wow. Not just sweets.
That seems like a lie.
Like cabbage.
It's. I may have dreamt it.
Okay.
There's certainly a gin bar in Liverpool that used to have it. Like, it was like baked bean flavoured gin.
I mean, who want...
red onion flavoured gin.
What?
Roast dinner flavoured gin.
Okay.
It was a gin bar that had every conceivable flavour
you
could or could not wish for.
Why is it that gin is apparently the thing to put lots of flavours on, but not anything else?
I don't know. It's like, because I remember, I think I heard about like this bar. It might have been in London. But it's a ginnery. It's a gin joint. Ginnery. Yeah, and they sing that constantly.
It's really annoying.
That's got a very local radio ad vibe to it, hasn't it?
But they get to and it's like a gin. It's a gin-porium, and you just say like what flavour gin do you want, and you'll go like, oh, I don't know, ennui, and then they like
divorce.
they'll run the gin like through pipes. You can see it like moving overhead, and it will like mix with the flavour, and then just come out of a spigot or something on the other side.
But the logistics of that must be costly.
Those,
Just give me the gin I asked for. And
I mean,
let's
those
spend it.
pipes,
isn't it?
Those pipes must be in dire need of a clean. Kind of.
Who's paying for that spectacle? It's you, John.
Yeah, John.
Ultimately, it's you. I bet you paid over the odds for that gin.
I didn't go there.
Oh, all right. Well, whoever does go then.
I heard about it.
Probably
I
is
would-
paying
I would go.
£14 for a gin.
That sounds like Willy Wonka's gin emporium, doesn't it? It sounds
And
very.
that guy's
very...
hammered all the time.
Yeah, well, look at him. It must be.
He turned into Johnny Depp.
He regrets that decision.
Isn't that the big lie at the heart of gin though? Like everyone goes like, "Oh, gin, it's like it's so artisanal. It's so hard to make." And isn't it? No, you just take like some vodka,
Yeah,
and
that's
add
exactly what gin
flavouring,
is.
and now
Yeah.
you've got gin.
Botanicals, John. Botanicals.
Oh, I can fuck off.
Gin
Exactly.
is to
It's just
gin is to
flavouring.
vodka as rugby is to football. In that it happened by accident.
Yeah, they probably it's like the Powerpuff Girls. They probably just drop some stuff into the vodka, and it's like, oh yeah, let's call this gin, I guess. I mean, I like gin. I like gin a lot.
Someone
you're
just
right,
goes,
yeah.
"Oh, this vodka tastes of something. Oh, I won't have that. Oh, let's just market it as something else.
Let's call it something else.
It'll become popular eventually."
With like that shake place, is it like when we went to a kind of fried food, air quotes, emporium in Edinburgh, and it was like,
Oh yeah,
bring us your chocolate bar and we'll deep fry it for you.
pretty much. Well, I wanted a deep fried Mars bar from our time in Edinburgh because I felt like that was the thing to do.
Oh, sure.
Instead of getting like a kilt or a valuable souvenir, I thought I'm going to eat a fried Mars bar.
I agree completely.
Well, it's really the
And
only
then
reason to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they'd run out of Mars bars, which was disappointing
I seem to
because
recall
obviously everyone had the same idea.
I seem to recall we had a Twix instead.
We had a deep fried Twix, which is essentially a Mars bar with biscuit in it. And it was very sickly. It was very sickly. I regretted it. It wasn't very nice. Although I did do that again relatively recently, having had a few drinks during
Not
the
learned
football.
your lesson at all.
When you say relatively recently, do you mean?
Oh, in the last 3 weeks.
You had a
you
deep
got
fried
a-
Mars bar.
Yeah, Twix. I think it was a Twix again, actually.
How did you?
homemade?
No, I ordered it from a takeaway.
I gotta say,
The
like,
takeaways are still open, John.
Yeah,
I
I know
know,
you could order that.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
like certain foods maybe travel better than others.
Well, it
and
depends how far they're travelling.
I don't really feel that like a deep fried Mars bar is starting from a good place anyway. I don't think it's going to
No.
get better.
Well, it wasn't very nice.
I imagine when it arrived, the wrappers were completely transparent. Like,
Yeah.
the oils, the rich oils.
You could actually see back in time through the wrapper.
You can see the dinosaurs wandering around.
I thought you meant the Mars bar wrapper, kind of like deep fried
well, they-
inside
yeah,
the
they
batter.
deep fried that as
Why
well.
unwrap it? That's very unhygienic to unwrap it.
Exactly, yeah. Get their mucky hands on it. No,
Yeah,
instead,
just chuck it in.
just chuck the whole lot in, batter it.
Get one of those things that litter pickers use and just chuck it in.
I don't know, like I don't know who's in charge of standards in like deep frying places, but
No
like
one, John. No one.
I have elected not to think about it.
well, my point is like there are a few other industries that would support a business model where you're like, if you come in with something and ask them to deep fry it, they'll do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, where do they draw the line? Is it at food? Or, if I came in with a spanner and just went, like...
But that's as much of a novelty as the gin bar you were describing, except you get something to take away with you.
Yeah,
Like if I went in with like a bike wheel or something and said, "Hi, can you deep fry my bike wheel, please?"
need to
Then
get-
you've got something to take away with you.
That's true, a deep-fried bike wheel.
Could you
I mean, you've got
fill this with
literally
gin
no
and
use
deep
for
fry
it.
it?
Yeah, you've got
Yeah,
no
you can
use
take
for
a-
it, but at least it's a souvenir of your time where you just momentarily lost your mind.
You can take a bottle of gin in and deep-fry that.
Deep fry that.
Done.
Is it like
I mean, every patron for the next 3 weeks will be pissed as a fart, but
Yeah.
Is it like the deep frying is meant to not really transform the flavour, but kind of seal it away? Kind of like nuclear waste.
I wouldn't ask me about the science behind deep frying.
I think the process is that if you deep fry anything, whatever is within the fried battery casing is now edible. That's just the rules. So whatever you deep fry,
that seems like something that could be true.
yeah, exactly. That's science. If you want to take that one to the bank,
Yeah.
feel free. So
I ate chicken feet in Peru, I want to say. And I don't know if there was like a technique to it, but I did kind of just put the whole foot in my mouth and then kind of like take it out again. Because it turns out they're very bony. A lot of bone in that.
when that was served up to you, did it just look like a foot?
Yeah, but it was covered in like it may have been like had some kind of like maybe it had been battered or fried or something, but it had like a sauce all over it. But it did very much look like a foot.
How are you supposed to eat it?
I think you're meant to like delicately nibble on the toes.
That's just thing is. Let's ignore the fact that it's gross.
Yeah.
For 1 second, we'll ignore that.
We have to.
The logistics behind eating the skin off a foot.
Yeah.
Any foot, not just a chicken foot.
I don't understand. I don't understand this idea at all. Like, I don't know why. I understand trying to eat all of something so it's not a waste that you've killed this animal. I understand that to some extent, but like, why?
Yeah.
Why eat chicken feet? They walk around in their own shit like all day, and I know that you can clean a foot. You can clean some shit off a foot. I know you can do that. I know that's possible in our modern age with our modern technology. But that doesn't mean I want to eat that foot still.
You
I don't
can clean a
understand
foot, Nick, but you can't wipe that slate clean. You know, once you've done
Yeah.
it.
The history is there. It's ingrained in the wrinkles of the foot. There'll always be the crevices that you can't get into, and there'll be poo in those.
I would say, beside the genitals, the feet are the least appealing part of any living
Animal.
being.
Yeah.
I
Particularly
would to eat certainly.
from a cuisine perspective, yeah.
I don't think I'd want to eat a hand either. Right?
Well, all right, let's lump them in in the same bracket, shall we?
Okay,
thing
so
is-
anything, yeah.
The thing
But
is,
then that doesn't necessarily apply to a chicken wing, say. I'm
it's a thing.
talking across all species here.
Yeah, but I guess a chicken wing doesn't have to handle things
No,
in the same
True.
way as a hand does.
but then I would rather eat an arm of a being than a leg.
I guess the
But then
only,
chicken legs, I suppose, feet.
The
I
only
suppose it's a bit of a
creature-
maze, this, isn't it? Really?
the only other creature really in the world that has hands that would be in some way equivalent to eating a human hand is probably an ape or a monkey of some kind.
But
Yeah.
I reckon that's a very muscly hand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I've got quite a muscly hand, so
Well,
one.
yeah. Oh no, bail.
Pull up.
You can see him just like crushing pencils every time he goes down to the drawing board. I think like if it ever came to that terrible moment where, you know, the planes crashed, we're all kind of picking ourselves up out of a rubble on the side of a mountain, and we have to make that terrible decision about, who
Who we're going to eat.
we're going to eat somebody. It's like,
Has anyone, right?
well,
Hear me out.
okay.
Has anyone ever lost the vote? Like, you're going to be eaten now. That's a shame. Like, sorry about that. But then they've overpowered their would-be, like, eaters. And, and they've gone, no, fair enough, you're not the weakest. We won't cook you.
That would be pretty awkward, wouldn't it? If they were like, you drew the short straw and it's beefy Josh. It's like the biggest guy in the
Has anyone
group.
ever not accepted it? Is basically what I'm going for, and then succeeded in reversing the decision.
But like beefy Josh is like 3 times the size of the biggest other person
Yeah.
there, and there's only 3 other people, and none of even teamed up, they don't stand a chance to take down beefy Josh. But he is probably the
again-
most delicious person there because look how beefy he is.
I'll say it again, ignoring the grossness of the situation, the sheer logistics of that. Honestly, you must waste so much energy.
But do you purposefully? Who do you want to eat? Do you want to eat the hench, really like peak physical condition person? Because as you say, it's going to be a hell of a battle taking them down.
But you'll work up an appetite doing it. So,
And also, it's probably going to be nice and tender. Lots of muscle.
exactly.
Or do you go for
Muscle's
sickly?
not very nice unless you slow cook it.
Well, you got time.
go for sickly Steve.
Yeah, you gotta then find the water to build the fire, boil the water.
This
cook
is it.
for at least 36 to 72 hours.
We can easily overpower sickly Steve, but how delicious is he going to be? And
Yeah,
how-
because
how
if
long-
Find some coriander.
Because
how
if you
long
go
will he
like,
feed
let's
us
all draw lots, and we're like, well, I'm fine. Oh, who got the short one? And you turn to like old, Reiki Dave over there, who's like just standing in the corner. And goes, oh, fair cop.
It's poisoned meat.
I don't want to make that decision.
No, I think the group as one would turn to look at Beefy Josh, and he would suddenly appear very, very delectable.
But I then if Beefy Josh resisted, I'm not sure I'd
And
fancy my chances.
And he would.
Yeah,
That's the problem, and he must have a very thick neck.
the thing is, like when Beefy Josh kind of repel, when he stops like the 20 other people from eating him, you can't sweep that under the rug. His only option is to then destroy and consume all of you.
This is what I mean,
Survival
like,
of the fittest. That's the difference.
It's a very awkward conversation, isn't it, when 20 people run at Beefy Josh and they all fail to bring him down, and then they're like, so what now? And Beefy Josh knows that they all wanted to eat him, but they failed. And now there's this horrible, like, elephant in the room tension in the air when it's like, well, what happens now? We can't take him down. And he's like, now I get pick of the crop, my friends.
But that is such an awkward social situation that you have selected this guy, and then he's just gone, no.
Just no, man.
And you're like, oh, well, we can't overpower him. We're going to have to change our minds, and that's embarrassing.
I would love to know whether that situation has ever, in all of history of the Earth, whether that has ever happened.
Surely no one's ever done it willingly either. Surely
Well,
no one's
no.
just gone, oh, all right, yeah,
Yeah, eat me. Fuck
that's
it.
fine.
Yeah. You'd like to think, though, that if they've all sat down to draw lots, there's certainly a bit of a communal spirit there. It wasn't like, let's draw lots but not involve Beefy Josh in the
The thing is,
discussion.
probably everyone was hoping that Beefy Josh wouldn't be chosen because they would know that he would then easily take down whoever was.
Yeah,
They could just
secretly,
rely
yeah.
on Josh to be the hammer that falls.
But also, Beefy Josh, a man of that incredible physique.
All this
and
talk
build.
about beef is making me want to eat him.
yeah,
Well,
really.
but think about it. He's not going to be satisfied with a few twigs.
No, exactly.
If he wants to keep his that physique in order, he's going to need a lot of protein.
He's been lifting Sickly Steve up and down just to keep his muscles going.
Taking a bite out of every time he's at the top.
Ow.
The thing is, we talked about when I mentioned the most unappealing bit to eat. If somebody has made the ultimate sacrifice, willingly or otherwise, and we're going to eat them, and it's an incredible gift, and we have to use all parts of a buffalo. We can't let anything go to waste. If you serve me a hand
With a wedding ring on it.
I'm probably going to consider killing again because I'd rather get. It's like I've killed
That's
once.
the next bit as well, isn't it? It's like who gets the hand, who gets the foot, who gets the genitals.
Yeah, there'd have to be lots drawn for that as well because there's only 4 limbs.
This is just a social minefield.
Yeah,
Well, the buttock is presumably where you really want to focus.
or the belly.
But then that's been near all the horrible stuff.
Yeah,
I'd rather have like a peck or something.
a
But if you-
beefy peck.
Yeah.
So, but
without
just
a nipple. Someone take the nipple off first.
but just like animals in
This is
general.
horrible.
The thing is, if you, do you think
This has gone much darker than I thought it would.
Yeah, very
It does-
quickly.
When we started talking about what milkshake I had, I didn't think we'd end up here.
But does a shaving kit survive the plane crash? Because you're talking about removing the nipple. I want that chest hair gone.
That'll burn off
know.
in the fire. That's fine. That'll just
Yeah.
that'll sizzle away.
I think the temperature will take care of that.
Don't worry too much. And any that's left is a kind of like peppery coating on the surface of the steak, so it's fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
When I used to work in the lab, and I had to go get eyeballs from an abattoir for dissection purposes, it was always worse when there was a little bit of eyelid still attached.
Oh gee. Oh
You'd have
jeez.
Like the pig eyelashes on it.
Oh, the
God.
pig eyelashes.
Did it have mascara on?
Had like a
Oh,
little heart
God.
tattoo next to the eye.
Yeah.
Oh god. I as a science technician, because I also was one of those, I never luckily ever had to deal with eyeballs. The most I had to go get from a butcher was lungs. That was
Nice.
the worst I had to
I'd
do.
eat a lung, I think.
They weren't for eating, Chris. They weren't for eating.
Oh,
they
that's
were,
a shame.
They were for blowing into.
I'm not sure I would.
Ah,
I wouldn't track down a lung. They don't call it lung. They're not like when if you ever go into like a a restaurant that served it, it wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'll have some lungs, please. It's what do we call it? Sweetbread.
Yeah, it's something like that, isn't
Really?
it? Yeah, sweetbread.
Yeah. It's like all the organs that don't have fancy, sexy names.
Just call it what it is.
Give me a lung.
Sweetbread. Yeah.
Give me a lung and mayo. Just do it now.
Thing is, I could be caught out by that. I could be genuinely. I'd love a sweetbread.
Ooh, a
if it's
sweetbread.
what it sounds like.
Ooh, it's like brioche.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love a bit of brioche, and then someone turns up with a fucking lung,
Oh, fucking lung!
and I'm like, "What the hell is this? Oi, garçon!
Send
What
this
is
back.
this?"
Well,
Send this
I mean,
back.
there's a lot of people who are quite happy eating intestine,
Offal.
but you do have to wash it quite a bit because it can have a bit of a pooey tang to it.
I mean, again, why fucking walk the line? Why even get close to that zone?
It seems far more trouble than it's worth, unless you've been in a plane crash and you have to eat someone.
But I do like, I know like humans are amazing creatures and we've learnt to survive in all manner of different environments and eat all kinds of different things.
Sure.
We also do very weird things to food to the point where it almost isn't food anymore. Like, would you know, what was it, like millennium eggs or century eggs?
Well, we just let them go rotten for ages. Is that
Yeah,
right?
you let them like ferment for like 5 years or something like that, and they come out, they're absolutely green.
But
people
why is it that the most disgusting stuff is the delicacies? It's like
Yeah.
bird's nest soup or whatever it is basically made from bird's nests that the specific bird like makes in a cave somewhere, I don't know where. But the nest is made of twigs and saliva from the bird. The bird literally just and makes a glue to adhere the nest to the wall of the cave. And then people, oh, look at that. That spitty, sticky mess there on the wall. I tell you what, let's bring that home. Let's broil that up for a minute or two and serve that up. Ooh, mwah, ooh.
There's got to be like a human story behind that, where it's like thousands and thousands of years ago, and there's a couple of hunters, and they see that, and one guy's like,
Ooh, cave fruit.
look at this, like, this is amazing new food source. And the other dude's like, yeah, but, like, I know food is scarce, and I know we're probably not going to live past, like, 28, but, like, maybe we could just, like, kill a rabbit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
let's just
if you really
find a
want meat.
mushroom.
Yeah, look, here's a mushroom. I'm holding a mushroom.
Please, God.
We know you can eat these.
I honestly don't know why we would ever have got to the point where A, we tried it, and B, we decided it was a delicacy. Like, it's remarkable. It's probably
Can't trust
disgusting.
people.
Can't trust
trust-
people.
can't trust people.
them. Won't trust them.
Who's got a hate?
Oh, go on.
Chris
Oh,
Ray.
me. Oh,
Chris
me.
Ray.
Pick me. Pick me.
Chris Ray.
I'll
you.
hit you. Right. People.
No.
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 Who? I almost had you then, didn't I?
We
almost had you then.
moratorium on that.
No. People who deliberately go out of their way to ruin something for themselves or upset themselves and then complain about it.
Okay.
I think I know
Now,
what you mean.
I appreciate this could open a massive can of worms in a general sense.
Here we go.
So I'll give you a couple of specific examples that have irritated me recently. As you know, Disney have me by the balls.
Oh, yeah.
And I watch all of their outgoings, whatever it may be.
DuckTales.
2 of those recent outgoings have been The Mandalorian and WandaVision.
Yes.
And obviously, after a few days, people are assumed to have watched these things, and people start posting on social media, including the official accounts.
Oh.
And I won't give any spoilers because I know John hasn't seen WandaVision yet. But there was something that happened
Or The
last
Mandalorian.
week, and all the oh well, all right. Well, I've already told you what happens in that. There was a bit at the end of last week's episode which people engaged with, and they eventually put it onto their Twitter account, and I think it was about 3 or 4 days later, just as a little segment video to promote the latest episode. And the first maybe 4 or 5 comments were, "Oh God, I can't believe you spoiled it." Well, one, if you were that bothered, surely you would have watched it already.
Yep.
And second of all, don't follow the fucking official account, you mentalist. If you don't want to be spoiled about a show, don't follow its official Twitter account where you know they'll be promoting things. Oh, thanks a lot. You've ruined it for me. I'm never going to watch another Marvel again. Oh, God.
Really? They were that dramatic?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
People
my
are.
God.
And it's just like,
People are,
well, you've gone out of your own way there to ruin that for yourself and then complain about it.
Yep.
I mean, the Mandalorian one, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it, fast forward to whatever, who cares?
Brilliant.
Luke Skywalker shows up at the end of the second series. It's badass. But then Mark Hamill tweeted about it maybe 2 weeks later, I think it was. And it was just like, we were able to keep my involvement a secret for so long that it was a real miracle of modern production and all this. And the first, again, 5 of the first 12 comments or something were like, oh, God, I can't believe you ruined it for me. Thanks a lot, Mark. Oh, I really used to like you, but I don't anymore because you ruined it for me. Oh, piss off. If you were that bothered, you would definitely have seen it within 2 weeks. And if you, again, probably assume that people who are in that Star Wars bubble will maybe tweet about Star Wars properties. So don't follow them.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Is that if you care enough for the spoiler to be really spoiling,
to hurt you that
to
much.
hurt, yeah.
If you're going to be that bothered by it,
then you're obviously a massive fan. And if you're a massive fan, why haven't you watched the show? I mean, there is a counter argument though, which is like John here, for example. Hello, John. Is a very big Marvel / comics fan,
The rumors are
and
true.
he has not watched WandaVision, not because he is some useless reprobate, although that is still debatable, but because he doesn't have Disney Plus.
Absolutely. But then I would assume that John wouldn't then go and click on the WandaVision hashtag or follow the WandaVision Twitter account.
I'm presuming probably he wouldn't. John, would you?
No.
So there you go.
I found out today that people apparently Google Disney, and I'm like, I don't know why anybody on the planet would Google just the word Disney.
Yeah, what? Just the word Disney?
Yeah,
As
just
if
the
to
word
say,
Disney.
What is Disney?
Yeah, it's not even a question, just like Disney.
Disney.
You know, I why would you do that? I get liking Disney, but like,
Yeah.
what are they up to today?
What is a Disney?
What is Walt up to today?
Now-
Tap a tap.
I have to say, because now I do agree with you, but I'm going to be slightly devil's advocate here because I do actually think I did get this spoiled for me on Twitter.
Oh no.
And I don't follow Disney or WandaVision. But I think someone retweeted it or whatever. And I'm really not that bothered about it, but I kind of saw this little clip and I was like, oh, okay, that person is something
Appears.
Okay, sure.
relevant. And I have enough, I know enough about the comics to go like, oh, okay, I think I know what's going on here. And
I think you
potentially-
may have seen the thing I'm referring to.
That's
I think
potentially
I have.
worse for you then in many ways because you know the comics, you know the significance of a certain name or a certain place or a certain happening, and it could spoil something more for you than someone who wasn't.
So at the same time, though, I'm not going to now tweet at Disney going how dare you?
That has happened, but you've gone, oh, that's a pity. But then again, I follow a lot of people who are in that sphere, and, you know, it may crop up. That's just the cross I'm going to have to bear. You don't immediately go, oh, God's sake, oh, I can't believe it, you've ruined it for me. Well, it's been out nearly a week, so, you know, if you were that bothered about, A, seeing it, and B, not being spoiled by it, you would have watched it and not logged on to social media in the meantime.
I do think I completely agree with you, but I do think it's a little strange as a marketing technique to spoil your own show.
Like, this is how long do you wait? I suppose is the next question. How long do you wait before putting this stuff out there?
I think the thing is that they're hoping to generate conversation around their property and all that kind of stuff. And the best way of doing that is to talk about the big revelations that have happened in their show. And I get that. But it is a funny thing to have made something that hinges upon the impact that those narrative moments will make, and then have your official Twitter account just blast them out a couple of days later. Like, fuck it, yeah, woohoo!
I mean, to be fair, it is very catchy.
It is.
Oh, that's not going to spoil anything. Pull the other one.
Oh, we're going to get comments on the show called Hate now.
Yeah.
Pass this on to Disney.
Thing is this whole thing extends, and I won't get political because I don't want to bring us all down. But people click on hashtags or they go onto news stories just to be upset by things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I get it. If you're actually offended because something affects you personally and you feel it's a big wrong to you or a society or a community or whatever, fair enough. But people deliberately go out of their way to get cross about stuff, and that's what I can't be doing with.
No, but you're right though, because it's kind of like it is like doom scrolling, which is the new hot phrase. But like
I haven't heard that phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like where everyone logs in every day to get their daily hit of the bad brain chemicals. Where you log onto Twitter and you scroll until you see confirmation that the world is a terrible place.
Yeah.
Like, what's the latest bad thing to happen?
There's got to be something. Scroll.
And there always is. And
that's
Twitter,
why I'm not on Twitter anymore.
yeah, and that's very healthy.
It's a wise decision. Well, I got rid of the Twitter app around the US election. I think I mentioned it before. And I'm glad I did. I still go on Twitter, but not nearly as much as I did.
Because even if you log onto Twitter and you get like a news story about Trump or QAnon or something horrible like that, and like if I see that, I get like a little buzz in the back of my brain because I go like, oh yes, this proves that I'm sane because like these people are absolute lunatics who are dangerous. But at the same time, I feel worse about the world and everything, and then I go away feeling
bad,
horrible.
Yeah. I think I get the opposite, which is probably why doom scrolling doesn't work for me. But like, if I see something like that, the first thing I think is, what if they're right? What if I'm wrong? Oh no! Like, and that fills me with even...
Am I out of touch? No, it's the children that are wrong.
Like, but that's exactly what... I have zero confidence in my own opinions and beliefs to the extent that when I see a maniac conspiracy theorist saying that everyone is reptilian people with human skin over them, I'm like, well, are they? Maybe they are. I mean, maybe they know something I don't know.
Thing is, I don't take people on Twitter anymore, and that goes against everything I am. But it's just not worth it.
It isn't.
The thing is, I used to take people on and I'd think, yeah, I certainly showed them. And now I just think, who cares? I really do just think, who cares?
Well, we're slowly learning, I think, as a culture that maybe mass communication of this nature was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's too late now, though. The genie's out of the fucking bottle.
I think we've realised that after the horse has bolted.
Let's honestly, I remember the day vividly. It was April 2011, and Chris Ray, we had driven down to Reading to visit some friends of ours, and we had a night out. We had a few drinky poos, and that was the very day that I joined Twitter.
Was it?
Oh,
and I remember borrowing their computer to check my account and going like, yes, I've finally arrived. Smash.
Here we go.
And it's like a new golden day is dawning. Smash cut 10 years later. And it's like, QAnon, the storm is coming. And
yeah.
I remember the day I joined Twitter as well, and I was living with a couple of friends down in Salisbury, and it was an evening in the living room, and I was like, I'm going to join Twitter. That's what tonight's going to be, and I'm gonna think real hard about my first tweet, and it's going to be because like everyone was talking about Twitter. Facebook, fuck off, Facebook. That's the old hat. Let's get on this new beast, this new Twitter beast that everyone's racking on about, and it's like. Yeah, it was like the front page of the internet. It was like opening a newspaper tailored to you. And I was following like Stephen Fry and like John Cleese and stuff like this. It's like, why? I don't know, because they were suggested to me at the beginning.
I remember in the early days of Twitter, cool. I used to follow celebrities and tweet them like random nonsense. And I expected them to reply.
This is the thing.
I thought they'll reply. Oh yeah, they'll reply.
But Twitter sold you the lie on the basis of like Facebook. You had to have your friends approved by the friend themselves, so you couldn't like Stephen Fry on Facebook because he would have to like apply it back. But not on Twitter. You can follow Stephen Fry, and whatever he says, you get to see every fucking day. Yeah. Weird.
So anyway, don't go out of your way, like we are right now, to get offended about stuff, people, because no good can come of it.
Okay.
I appreciate the irony, but like somebody tweeted, and I thought this was very prescient, and their tweet, which had been retweeted countless times, was basically just the words, remember, you don't have to tweet.
Yeah.
And it's very, very true, because I've gotten there. Like I've curated my feed now, so I only try to check it for business. I've blocked certain people and phrases and things that are only going to make me angry, and I'm trying to make it a more positive place. But every now and then I see something, and I get this righteous fury in me, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna find 280 characters, and I'm gonna blow 240 characters. I'm gonna blow this out of the water. This person is gonna look very stupid once I complete this sentence. And I've typed the whole thing, and then gone, no, actually, that's not gonna help at all. And I've deleted the tweet.
Yeah,
You just gotta. That's it. Just go. That's what you gotta do. It goes against everything, as I say, that I would want to do under normal circumstances. But I just go.
But it's also, I mean,
Like Lenny off The Simpsons.
That's the same. If before Twitter, it was writing into your local newspaper.
I thought you were going to say Blue Peter.
Or Blue Peter.
Yeah, writing it to Blue Peter.
All right, I started. Dear bastards.
Where is my fucking Blue Peter
I got
badge?
Blue Peter badge. We got Blue Peter badges.
What?
Yeah, well, you put the effort in, and then I got like a spare badge off the back of it.
You got the reward, yeah.
Do you remember there was like an inferior circular badge that you could get as a
like the try better next time badge?
There were like tiers of badges because there was the gold one as well.
The gold badge was for like dignitaries.
Yeah,
and people that would save dogs from burning buildings.
Did you get the gold badge if like it was awarded posthumously, like if a Blue Peter badge wearer had laid down their life protecting the garden or something like that?
Yeah.
Stop vandals from graffitiing their bird bath.
Because I swear there was like, it was like, the standard Blue Peter badge, which was like the greatest thing.
I lost mine. I was very upset about it.
It could get you in places.
Yeah, you get into like
Alton Towers and shit.
Stringfellows.
A Cotswold Wildlife Park for free.
Spearmint Rhino.
You get to Spearmint Rhino. Yeah.
But I swear it was like it started and you just get like a circular badge. It wasn't even like debossed or anything.
I wouldn't
badge.
even bother for a circular badge.
I wouldn't get out of bed for a circular badge.
I wouldn't accept it.
Why should I get a circular badge?
That's just a glorified pog. Fuck off.
And I think they've introduced a like green badge.
That's an environmental badge.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And then, like you said, you've got the golden one. Was the golden one just a regular badge but coloured gold?
No, it was just the ship. So
the ship?
The regular Blue Peter badge was a ship on a shield shape. And then the gold one was just the ship cut out. And just, gold.
It does occur to me, we are a global show with a reach of tens.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
How would you explain? How would you explain Blue Peter to an international audience? Like, what the hell are we talking about here?
Blue Peter is a magazine show for young people, usually pre-teens.
I don't know if that helps though, as much as that may be what.
Well, they talk about all sorts of crazy old crap.
It's like a live studio show.
It's a live studio show,
for young.
And they make things.
Was it live?
Yeah, well, it had a live.
It used to be live, yeah.
But
they do features where they go to like the paper disposal unit nearby, or they did gardening, or they made something out of old toilet rolls,
toilet tubes, or whatever.
It was very wholesome, wasn't it?
It was very wholesome. It was very British, and it was very variety. You know, maybe there'd be a brass band on at the end to play the credits out or something, or there would be like a load of kids doing a choir from a local school or something. You know, it was always very much about people and what people were doing, and the presenters themselves were like larger than life personalities, weren't they? Who would get to travel all over the world and do all sorts of shit.
It was quite a selection process, wasn't it? Like you had to go through pretty stringent.
Imagine the casting for Star Wars now. That's what Blue Peter was like in the 80s.
But it was very much like, have you ever even seen a cartoon depiction of a cigarette? And if you didn't answer what's a cigarette, you wouldn't even be considered. Yeah.
It was pretty stringent.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't get offended or else.
Okay.
I've got a hate.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to use one particular example to highlight a bigger issue that's affecting society, but I hate the one bad raisin in the packet.
Okay.
Right. I feel like this is a metaphor.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not a metaphor. I'm being very literal here.
Also, you don't. When you're eating a pack of Sun-Maid, you hate it when you get one grape.
I feel this way about crisps.
Well, this is what I mean about multiple examples. This also applies to crisps.
There's
You
always
are
one.
being
There's always
very
one
literal.
like horrible burnt one.
Or chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other day,
This is a good one, John. I approve of this.
Thank you.
This is
so,
very good.
So Lucy, my lovely wife, was pouring herself a bowl of granola, and she knows that I like raisins and other kind of dried fruits. And there was this thud while she was pouring the granola out, and this thing, kind of like the dimensions of a golf ball, kind of landed in a granola. She was like,
no.
"Oh, it's a super raisin." And it was like 58 raisins, kind of like
a rat king, but for
yeah,
raisins.
like a rat king. It was like 58 raisins, like smushed into like a diamond, like just kind of through pressure, just been condensed into this black lump.
They're always rock hard as well.
Yeah,
a conker.
and she said, "Oh, you like raisins, darling? Would you like this?" And I was like,
I feel
No.
like she was mugging you off, John.
She was trolling.
"Oh my god, no, I can't imagine anything worse."
Did you try it?
No.
You see, this is my problem, right? Is that I have the same issue. I completely agree with you. Sometimes this happened a lot more in the old days, I feel, when I was a kid. But you'd have like crisps, and then every now and then there'd be a ball of just pure flavouring at the bottom of the crisp packet.
Yeah.
This happened most often with things like Knick Knacks or Whatsits. The spices would have just
it was all just like congealed almost.
yeah, and it would gather into this little kind of nugget of flavouring.
Yeah.
And you would look at that nugget and you'd go, that is going to be disgusting. But there's another part of your brain, a smaller part, but a louder part, would be like, but it could just be condensed flavour of the crisp. And you
Yeah.
like the crisp, Nick. So eat the nugget. And I'd eat the nugget and it would be disgusting, despite
Yeah.
the fact that it was the flavouring of the crisp I loved so much. So I would still do it, despite the fact I knew it would be awful.
Yeah.
And I think I would have eaten that raisin cluster. I would have eaten it.
No.
I would have taken a bite
Yeah,
out of it.
again with the crisps, I would like. Let's say it's a packet of Walkers ready salted. I would eat them all, and then the horrible one would be left at the end, and I just go, "Oh, I better eat it."
But the thing is, it's the last thing you eat. So
No,
that's
yeah, and
that's
then that's
the
the
remaining
taste.
flavour
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you go away with.
That's the taste you have in your mouth for like 2 hours afterwards.
But what you're saying, though, Nick, with like your example of like a knick-knack or a Monster Munch or something,
Yes,
you know,
Monster
in the factory where they're made, they've got like some big drum, some big like mechanical industrial drum which is spinning, and the little salted, puffed, fried, starchy things come in, and they're meant to like cycle around this drum and get covered in like that kind of orange dust, and it's like they're like, guys, this thing is like tuned to a hair's precision.
Yeah.
Because if they get more than 5 seconds flavor, they become
kill.
they will kill. And like one Monster Munch gets caught on the edge of the drum and nobody notices, and that thing is going round for
Yeah.
like a day.
It's the size of an apple.
It's perfectly spherical.
but it's 3 times as heavy as an average apple. It's like, why?
Where does all the weight go?
Yeah. You crack it open, there's liquid inside. What the hell is going on?
Oh, it's like I don't keep them in the house for this reason, but I'm a big fan of Pringles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
leave-
That is an
I've
issue.
got some right
when
here.
I buy when I buy Pringles, it is true that
Listen.
once you pop, you do not stop.
Listener, it's not a visual aid, but Nick literally moved his hand like just off camera, and there's a tube of Pringles like right there.
I walked past Nick's house the other day. This is a true
Oh,
story.
I knew this would come up. I knew this would happen.
I walked past Nick's house 2 days ago.
2
and he
days
just-
hence.
He just got back from the supermarket, and I was like, "Oh, you just been to the supermarket? What you got in your boot there?" And I'm not joking. There were so many sausage rolls.
It was. I mean, I don't want to say
Fitting the boot
overflowing.
with just 2 giant packets of sausage rolls.
This isn't something. This isn't a part I play for the fucking podcast. This isn't
Yeah.
who I am. I come to this podcast and I pour my heart out with pure, genuine human like honesty. I love sausage rolls and I have some Pringles to hand right now.
Yeah.
If I wanted one.
Well,
They
maybe-
would be gone by now. If I had a pot of Pringles here, they'd be
Yeah.
gone by now.
If I had a pot of Pringles right now, I'd be making a salt mistake. I'd have, I'd have casualty on speed dial. But I love a Pringle. But there would be occasions in my long history of eating Pringles where I'd pop, I'd open it, and I would want to stop because I've clearly I can't believe that like all Pringles come off in like a massive tube, and then they just kind of like an unending snake of Pringles, and they kind of like cut them at intervals and put them in pots. And occasionally you get like a bad segment where it's like you're delving deeper into the Pringles pot, and you're like, oh, this Pringle seems a bit thin, like it didn't get like a full squeezing, and then you go a bit deeper and there's like a really thick Pringle, you know,
like an inch thick,
like a toenail,
and it's dusty. It's got like a kind of crusty nature to it. Oh, I can't even bring myself to.
Wasn't there? I'm having horrible flashbacks now, but wasn't there a flavor of Knick Knacks which was it was the yellow packaging, and I think it was like cheese, like. What was the yellow Knick Knack?
I'm not sure.
Never ate a Knick Knack.
No, I'm not sure I ever
I can
seriously
understand
ate
why.
any knickknacks.
I'm
The
just
Knick
going
Knacks
to.
just look like weird little knobbly bumps.
They look
weren't
like knobbly sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the yellow flavor? I've brought it up now. Here we go.
There's another one that's come to mind is fruit pastels.
Oh yeah.
There was always like a hard one in the big packets. While Nick's looking that up.
It was cheese.
Cheese.
It was vile. They were bad anyway, and then sometimes you'd get this like collection of like dust nuggets at the bottom. Oh, it was rough chuckles, that was.
Do you remember discos?
Yes,
Yeah, I
they
do.
were good.
And they were like, I'm sure they did other flavors, but the only flavor people remember was the salt and vinegar.
Because I think it was the most potent salt and vinegar.
It was so
It was
good.
acidic.
It was powerful.
Tear the roof of your mouth off. It was
If you
just
throw
insane.
a disco at a wall, it just corrodes through the wall and keeps flying. That's science.
That is pure science.
If you throw a disco at the wall, like you can see different colors in the air behind it. Like it's
You know, like in the Matrix when the bullets leave those ripples.
Yeah.
It's like that, but with new colors.
so every time you like open a pack of discos, you just suddenly find like blood on you, and you're like, "Where's that coming from?" And like the cut is so fine,
Yeah, it
you
won't
can't
heal.
even see it.
And all of a sudden you just realise you're in the worst pain of your life. Just by opening it.
Do you guys remember Roysters?
I do.
No, what was a royster?
they were a crisp. They were kind of like discos, but they had like bubbles as though they'd like been bubbling and they'd popped, kind of like poppadoms, kind of.
Oh, okay.
And there were a few flavors of them, but there was really again only one that mattered, which was the T-bone steak flavor. And
You could really taste that T-bone.
you could taste the bone part of it
Yeah.
So
significantly.
every bag comes with one piece of bone, like just in it.
And it says
If you
on
can
those-
successfully guess which part of this packet is a bone, then you win a prize, which is another packet.
It says not recommended. Don't eat the bone. The bone is there for flavor and for experience.
It's like the bag of silicone you get in certain things.
Yeah, don't eat that.
Don't eat
the
this
bone.
bit, please. For
Don't
God's
eat
sake.
the bone.
It's not really a flavor. Like there's many different crisp brands out there. Walker's is obviously dominant in the UK, but they've always got the standard flavors. It's ready salted, salt and vinegar, cheese and onion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are many offshoots of Walkers. They're obviously the bog standard. But
Isn't
Walkers,
it funny
Walkers
how some
own
brands
the
of
market.
crisps just like completely eschew that model of like salt and vinegar, cheese and onion, ready salted, and they just do their own fucking like Doritos. Like fuck it, yeah, we're gonna do cool
Yeah.
original, and we're gonna do like tangy cheese and then just spicy. Yeah,
And their colours are all over the shop. Doritos.
just wild.
Blue is cool original.
But blue should be salt and vinegar.
Yeah.
as we know.
And then the hot one is red, which should
Yeah.
be ready salted.
Well, this
All over
this
the
is
place.
this is controversial now because I'm
Yeah.
kind of with you. I'd always thought in my head, red is salt,
Yep.
blue is salt
Salt
and
and
vinegar.
See, that's where you're
Green.
wrong.
But Walker's
Green
does
is
the opposite.
cheese and
Walkers
onion.
are the only ones who do blue salt
Green.
and vinegar.
No, green salt and vinegar.
Green salt and vinegar.
and blue cheese and onion.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the other way around, isn't it? Yeah.
Walker's break the rule, but Pringles salt and vinegar is blue.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
Disco's salt and vinegar was blue, and Square's salt and vinegar is blue. Everything is fucking blue for salt and vinegar, except for Walker's for some weird reason.
I feel like
I
they've
think-
done that so that people who are easily suggestible like us will discuss it on a podcast.
And then they get free advertising.
Yeah,
hey,
then they
Walker's,
get exactly, yeah.
Get in contact though.
Thing is, I was never a fan of cheese crisps, but if you give me cheese and onion, I'm very much on board.
I'm the
I'm-
opposite.
Yeah, I like the flavour of onion, but I don't like the texture. So cheese and onion crisps are fine.
I generally hate cheese and onion crisps across the board, but I quite like Doritos tangy cheese.
Yeah, I love Doritos tangy cheese. May be my favorite crisp.
Oh,
I think.
bold
I think.
claim.
If we're talking Doritos, I prefer a cool Dorito. Does me cool.
They're just a bit.
flavour.
They taste. There's something that tastes slightly off about Cool Original to me. I don't know what it is.
I don't think a flavour should generally be named after a temperature. To be honest, I feel like I need to know what food group it's coming from.
Just call it like potato.
Well, I don't know.
What's it modelled on?
Tomato, like cool tomato.
Cool
or something like
tomato.
that.
My favourite crisp, without a shadow of a doubt, is Wheat Crunchies smoky bacon flavour.
Nice. I'm trying to think now. A Pringle is up there, as I've already suggested.
I'll be honest with you, I've always had a mild distrust of anybody who claims that like a bacon flavoured crisp is their favourite crisp.
I wouldn't say I like Wheat Crunchies smoky bacon flavour because they taste like bacon, because they don't. I just like whatever it is that they've done to those tubes. I like them. Those crunchy tubes.
What is it? Wait, a Wheato? Is that a tube? Is it
Wheat Crunchy? It's like a short tube of crunchy whatever that crisp is made of.
I remember Skips were one of the worst culprits of having something bad in them every time. Do you remember Skips? Prawn cocktail Skips.
Yes.
And then they had one. They had one little one that was a nugget and didn't melt on your mouth or anything. And it was just like
hard.
It was really hard. Yeah. That's just sprung into my head while we've been talking.
But they were basically commercialized prawn crackers. Like you'd get.
Yeah.
To be fair, like back in the days when we could go to restaurants.
Oh yes.
And we would all go to our kind of one of our favorite little kind of Chinese restaurants. You get the complimentary prawn crackers. It's great. Good. It's a wholesome snack. Everyone enjoys it. But you reach in and you get the one bad prawn cracker.
Yeah.
And it doesn't crunch. It kind of snaps.
It breaks. It shatters.
What went wrong? That's what I want to know.
They overbaked it. It's overdone. I think
they must do that deliberately. Some sort of enterprises must do that deliberately. I think.
What? Put a bad one in?
Yeah.
Why?
And then it's a topic of conversation, isn't it?
Oh, so we'll talk about it.
As we're proving right now. The thing is, it can't be. No one that successful is deliberately that shit.
Well, I think
thing.
John's right. I think it's a big machine and something gets caught.
Well, but someone probably should or has or will write to them and say, "Oi, walkers."
Yeah, but that's the irony, isn't it, of writing to a company like this? What they'll do in response is they will pay you off by sending you a metric ton of skips.
I mean, that would work on me.
It would, exactly.
I would keep buying them even though I had a lifetime supply.
I would go out of my way on social media to thank them and give them free publicity, having originally complained.
That's what you're right. I think it's a grand conspiracy to put something a bit shit in your food so that people will talk about it on podcasts.
I think they know exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
But maybe this is like an urban legend that everybody had, but I swear, like a teacher at school said that like their friend complained to Roundtrees because there were too many green fruit pastilles in their packet, and then they got sent a whole crate of fruit pastilles.
This does happen, yeah. Like,
I feel like people never used to be this obsessed with things like this. And then when Roundtrees say got a letter, they go, "Oh, a letter. Let's send out some free fruit pastilles to somebody engaged with us. Isn't that amazing?" And now all they get is engagement.
I love the idea that that's the solution. Like, I heard a great story. A friend of mine's dad used to buy this same tin soup every week, and that was what he'd have for lunch. Like, he'd had it for like years, and they changed the recipe one time. And now this legendary soup that he loved, he had every day, he didn't like anymore. So he sent them a letter, from his bureau, from the hand of, dictated, not read. Your soup has changed, and I would like to register the fact that I will no longer be buying your soup. Yours sincerely, Esquire. Yeah, sent off. What did he get? A shit ton of coupons to get more of that soup.
More soup.
The soup he said he did.
I thought you were going to say, like, what does he get? And it's like late at night, there's a knock on his door.
Yeah.
And there's two executives from Heinz, and they've got like gloves on. You got a fucking problem with our soup.
Yeah.
And then
here, have a whole lorry load of soup, and then it just flows into the door.
Yeah,
it's not canned or anything; it just flies in.
They've each got a pillowcase full of tins of soup.
Now,
So Google can improve. It would help to know how satisfied you are with my response.
Oh my
How would
goodness.
you rate it?
Oh, no.
If one
Alexa,
was
Google.
worst and five-
Hey, Google, stop.
Have we set Google off?
Thanks.
I don't know how. It must
How-
have been me
What
because it
did,
can't
what
hear
did Google
you.
say? I didn't know that was a thing we could play with on this podcast.
Well,
Google. Hey,
No.
hey Google.
You're on headphones. You,
Oh, we're on
you
headphones.
chungus.
Will you say
It
it?
must have been Nick.
No, I'm not saying hey Google. It didn't work.
It didn't
Oh, for
work.
crying out
Oh,
loud,
it didn't
yeah.
work.
I think I've shut it up permanently. I don't know what it wanted. Anyway,
Oh, well.
Just
Screw
wants
it.
to be loved. Well, there we go. That's my hate anyway. The one
I like-
bad raisin.
I liked it very much. We didn't really
Yes.
talk about raisins very much, but I liked it. Well done. Well, I've got one.
That's good because that's
Well,
the format.
good. Yes.
That's because that's what's required of this
Yeah.
show.
Maybe Google's got one.
I hate TikTok ghost hunters.
Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah,
I
so,
saw your recent TikTok.
So I'm now on TikTok.
Yes.
I'm now a TikToker.
Is that what they call them?
That feels so bad in the mouth.
I'm a TikToker.
That's got a bad mouth feel. Yeah. Well, okay. Like,
Is that how all the young kids worked out how old you were when you were like, "Hi everyone, I'm a TikToker
Is it
now."
that scene-
follow.
What movie is it where the guy comes over and goes, "Hello, fellow youths"?
It's 30 Rock, isn't it?
I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, I quite like TikTok actually. Like in its defense, because it is a shithole, but so are all social media platforms to some degree. You can very easily avoid all of the shit that's on TikTok and just find the good stuff. There is a lot of good comedy. There's a lot of good creative stuff cracking off on there, but there is also a good amount of crap that it does keep throwing at you because I think it thinks that you want that or that there's more of that than anything else. And one thing you can do on TikTok is you can go live, kind of like Twitch. You can just stream directly from your phone. And something I seem to get a lot that TikTok seems to think I want is live footage of people exploring abandoned buildings and looking for
Oh
ghosts.
God.
Is it because it can tell how old you are? And it's like, you're basically a ghost.
Yeah,
you're
pretty,
over 30.
You're pretty much a ghost. You'll be there soon.
That's it. Yeah, they're like, this is good quality ghost content that other ghosts will enjoy.
This is good practice for you.
Yeah, this is what you need to do when you start to haunt an industrial estate at age like 39. Because this is the thing, they're always exploring they're always exploring it late at night. Because I'll check TikTok before bed or whatever, and they'll almost every night there will be a feed of some middle-aged people exploring what looks like a warehouse in the middle of the night, and they'll just be standing around with torches or the lights on their phones, and they'll just be like, "Make a sound, do something to show you're there." And then there'll be like a clank in the background or something. Like, what was that?
One of the production crew drops a spanner and everyone jumps.
But yeah.
Are they middle-aged people, or are they like the young, super polished, weird, beautiful people?
No, they are exclusively sort of not shall we say not beautiful people. This is not to put them on blast, but they're not models, they're not TikTok stars, they're not social media influencers. They're just people who seem to live somewhere in deepest, darkest Somerset for some reason, and they are exploring an abandoned industrial estate in the middle of the night, which is covered in graffiti and looks kind of a bit creepy, I guess, because there's like a rusted doorway or something, a bit of corrugated iron on the floor, a skylight in the ceiling is broken, bit of glass, and they're just wandering around and trying to find ghosts. And it's just a bit tragic.
Why
isn't
would a
it, really?
ghost be at an old industrial estate?
Well, a lot of builders and engineers have unfinished business.
Sure.
It's a known quality.
Yeah.
I mean, like, ghosts our age, right? You know how ghosts, more often than not, like, they haunt really old houses.
Sure.
Will we just,
Yeah.
like, haunt new builds when we die? That's,
very good
what
question.
will we, there'll be no room left for us in the old scary buildings.
Oh, don't put a floating shelf on that wall.
People will be scared to go into high-rise buildings because they're all haunted by, like, millennials.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or they'll be, because you haunt where you were, so you'll haunt like the 38th floor of a skyscraper, which has long since
sooner or
collapsed.
later, everywhere's going to be haunted. You won't be able to
But
go
that-
anywhere, will you?
The skyscraper's gone. There's just ghosts up there. Nothing to do. They're stuck
Yeah.
all the way up on the 38th floor of a building that doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, everyone must have unfinished business. Everyone.
A few lamps would really break up the room. Ooh.
Oh, delete my internet history.
Blast my cash.
But like internet cafes will be haunted.
Yes.
You'll be like, oh, no one
Yeah.
go to internet cafes anymore. No one will want to go anywhere.
No,
It's a big problem.
It's going to be, it's a population issue, I think. We're going to be overpopulated with ghosts.
Yeah.
And it's going to be even easier for these ghost hunters to do their thing, I guess. So
Was
there's
it
that.
like there's, there are billions upon billions of humans have ever been alive, more than are currently alive on the planet right now. But is it like up until 2010, none of them had anything worth staying around for after they died? The moment people kind of started getting online, had a bit of a digital presence.
Yeah, this is it.
That's
Like
when
they want to see season 2 of WandaVision. Like if you die now, you're not going to see that. How season 1 ends.
That's a big issue.
Yeah, certainly for you, Chris. I think.
Well,
And how Disney has you.
I probably won't even know. I'll be busy haunting John.
I hope we get
I'll
to
probably
choose.
die first, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I think I'll die first, guys. Look at the sausage rolls.
It's got the Pringles and the sausage rolls.
Thing is, that's actually keeping me very, very alive. I think almost painfully. alive.
It keeps everything not well but smooth.
Yeah. I'm sort of like a reluctant engine.
Yeah.
The little engine. won't-
That sounds like a children's book. The Reluctant Engine.
Please let me die. I just want to haunt Chris Ray's house. That's all I want.
Talking about ghosts and stuff, obviously maybe TikTok is just the latest symptom of this greater problem, which is when you let anybody appear on television.
Oh, yeah.
Or YouTube. YouTube's got a lot to blame, got a lot of blame to take. But the moment anybody with a camera can start putting stuff online, there's a billion channels of people being like ghost hunters or whatever.
I think it's the laziest form of content because all you have to do is show up to a place that looks a bit spooky, which probably I could find. Give me half an hour walking outside my house. I could find somewhere that might look quite good for that video. Have a torch and then just wait for noises. That's literally all you have to do.
Thing is, is there any evidence of a ghost being there before? Because I could say, oh yeah, I'm like a lion hunter. I'm going to go to Gloucester hunting lions. There's no evidence of a lion ever having been in Gloucester, but I'm going lion hunting.
I would watch that stream.
There must be evidence of ghosts being at this industrial estate. Otherwise,
Well,
what the hell are you doing?
Ghosts
But presumably
don't
there's
exist,
ghosts everywhere. Like if you believe
Well,
in
stay at home
ghosts,
then. Don't go to the. Just stay at home and wait.
Yeah.
But if you believe in ghosts and you're willing to believe that ghosts, are the spirits of undead people that roam the earth, why do they all hang out in haunted houses?
Yeah, exactly. That's a
Like
big issue.
they'd be everywhere.
They would.
If I was a ghost, the last place, because I don't like scary things.
No,
the
I wouldn't
last
want to go
place
to a
I would go
haunted
is a
house.
haunted house as a ghost. I would want to
I'd
go
go
somewhere
to-
like bright and nice.
Yeah, I'd go to Alton Towers.
Yeah, I'd go and I'd get on all the rides for free.
Yeah. I'd have to keep up with the rides because they'd pass through me,
Yeah,
which is frustrating.
and I can fly anyway. But
There was a YouTube channel which was supposedly like ghost hunters or whatever, and they had hundreds of videos of like these young guys just kind of going around like, abandoned hospital. Do we see a ghost? And the thumbnail would be like one of them looking scared, and then like they've photoshopped in like a black silhouette of a person and like the scared emoji or something like that. But they'd upload all these videos, and every video would be like a montage of like 40 minutes long or whatever of them kind of just walking around an abandoned building at night, which is spooky. Like that's a spooky thing to do.
Sure.
But clearly they'd put so much content up about like all the ghosts they'd spotted. Something slipped through the net where they forgot to edit something out.
brilliant.
So there's a bit where they're walking through like this abandoned building, and the guy's got like a camera, so you're just seeing from a camera's perspective. And he's like walking down. He goes like, "Oh man, and I think this basement. I think this is where he murdered them." And then like a door opens, and he goes, "No, wait. When I say murdered,
Oh god.
you open the door." And then this guy like pokes his head out. He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry," and then like kind of shuts the door.
And
then
they
he
left it in the edit.
Yeah, and then he just like backs up a few steps and then just walks down again. Goes, "I think this is where he murdered." Like the,
Oh
and they
my
forgot to cut it out.
God. See, at least the ones I watch, I honestly think like they're not putting on any sort of show because nothing fucking happens. Like nothing happens. It's just another reason I take issue with TikTok showing me these things, because like if you're gonna put on a show, if you're gonna fake it, then you're gonna do something, aren't you? You're gonna walk past an open doorway, or you're going to drop a spoon so it makes a clangy noise or something. But they don't do anything. They just walk around and then they just talk. It's very cringy. They just talk to the room. It's really awkward.
It's good that you've not been reinforcing the algorithm by watching these videos.
Oh, I watched them for ages.
I hate them so much.
The thing is, what would a ghost do to you? Like, not you personally, but like to one. What would a ghost do?
Possess you?
But then, why?
Because
physically, I'm worse than useless.
But if you're worse than a ghost.
Yeah.
If a ghost is gonna possess you, they could do that while you're at home.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
It'd probably be
defense.
easier to catch me when I'm sitting on the sofa at home than it would when I'm running around a haunted house.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, unpredictably. They don't know where you're going to go next.
These ghosts, not so clever, are they? These ghosts.
They might want to throw a mug.
Yeah.
That could hit me. I get that could hit me in the head, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I'd be more worried about the living than I would be about the ghosts.
I think. I do. Yeah. Yes.
I do like the idea that when a ghost finally infects you, you know, when that ghost finally kind of like possesses you, and they just find that your blood is nothing but processed sausage meat.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no.
What
is this? What's
I chose the wrong vessel.
No.
But it's always old ladies, and no one who gets possessed ever ends up acting like an old lady, do they? They never go, ew. I had a jolly nice life. It's good to be back for one night only. Oh, look at that over there, the modern world. Ah. Well, instead, anyone who gets possessed is immediately evil and wants to wipe out humanity.
Well, maybe the reason for that is because the only kind of ghost that would be mean enough to take someone else's free will away and thereby possess them is a kind of a bit of a dick. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But then why are they allowed to come back?
Yeah.
Why is it that, like, so many ghosts just seem to like turning slowly to face the camera and then opening their mouth really wide and then like running directly at the camera so it fades to black? Like, why do they all pull that move? That's really unoriginal.
I guess they're all like drama, like woo, like this is an opportunity. I see a camera, it's like let's do something. Yeah.
maybe they all just panic and just do that as like an auto thing.
I like that idea a lot. So maybe like suddenly you're just chilling out. You're a ghost. You've been a ghost for 200 years. And you're haunting an industrial estate, as you do, you know, because you thought, this is easy. No one was ever going to come here. And then a load of TikTokers show up with lights. And you're like, oh, fuck, shit. Oh, no, I'm going to have to be scary. Oh, shit. I haven't thought about this. I've just been sitting here eating ghost apples this whole time.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do the mouth thing and I'll run at the camera.
I think it's stage fright, isn't it? That's the problem.
It's like you're on the spot. You've got to be scary. Like it's trying to just you know, it's like asking us to be funny just like that. We can't do that.
As we've shown over 80 episodes, we just can't do that.
Who has a love?
I have a love.
Go on then.
Give us a love.
My love is sort of a hate as well. And you'll discover why when I say it. My love is Married at First Sight Australia.
Here we go again.
Okay.
It's a real showstopper. Married at First Sight Australia is basically what it says on the tin, in that people get married at first sight in Australia.
Okay.
So
is that just a cultural practice over there, or?
Well, it could be, but it doesn't seem to be, seeing as they've made a television program out of it. They meet at the altar. They're matched by experts, inverted commas, and then they proceed to undertake a 2-month-long experiment where they are married and they do all sorts of married couple things. But they
legally,
I think so, yeah. But they've only just met, and that obviously throws up a lot of arguments and drama and things like that. And it's a real spectrum of sort of some really nice people who have got married for the right reasons and want to meet someone to spend the rest of their lives with and have children, and some real arseholes who are just in it to screw around and be nasty and be on the telly and be really, really aware that they're on the telly and have affairs and things like that with each other. So it's a real spectrum of society, but I can't stop watching it.
I do love how certain sections of the world are going like, oh yeah, gay marriage. It's making a mockery of the entire of a sanctity
you
of
go.
marriage, and yet this show exists.
Well, there is
Yeah.
a Married at First Sight UK, but it's much softer. Like this is they really ham it up in the Australian version. The English version, it's like, oh, I'll do this impression again, shall I?
Do that.
Nice to meet you. Let's do the experiment and then see if we want to stay together. And there's very little happens really. It's sort of more of an experiment, for want of a better word. The Australian one is just a mess. A real mess that they just follow them around at all the dramatic moments, and they have like dinner parties together where they all just argue and have affairs.
Bloody hell. So wait. So all of the couples who've got married, they all then come together.
Yeah,
and
they
have
come
a dinner
together
party.
every week at a dinner party at the same location, and they talk about their weeks, and that usually leads to an argument between at least one couple.
So, is it like a different couple every week, or they're in it for the whole season?
There were 10 couples, and they all got married at the start, and then they have the dinner parties. Then they have what they call commitment ceremonies, whereby if they both want to stay, they hold up a sign that says "stay," and only if both of them want to leave, can they leave. So sometimes someone will say leave, and someone will say stay, and they've got to stay.
Oh no!
And that adds
what's
to the tension.
incentive? What's the incentive to stay?
Stay
will
on
they
the,
win?
Stay on the telly, I guess.
I guess.
Do they get a cash prize at the end? Or...
I don't think so. I think they just stay married. I don't actually. We haven't got to the end yet.
Okay, well,
I'll tell you when I get there.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, there was certain people who they decided. Well, this one woman just decided she didn't like her husband straight away and went, "I'm going to go after that girl's husband," and she did, and they had an affair, and then they all left eventually.
Wow.
And it was just like, what is this I am watching? Like, because obviously the producers hide behind this whole, it's an experiment, and it's a social experiment and all this, but they know these people are having an affair. So it's like, well, this isn't part of the experiment. You're just doing this for the drama.
Yeah,
but
exactly,
it works.
yeah.
But it works because I'm watching it.
Because you're there. You're tuned in.
And I keep calling out stuff. I keep saying, oh, they know what they're doing there, or all the producers set that up, and I'm like, but I'm still watching it. It's worked.
I remember I watched more episodes than I'm proud to admit of a show on Netflix called Blind Date? No, that's
Blind Date was a dating show from the 90s.
It was. Love is Blind. That's what it was called.
Oh.
And it was a show where, again, loads of beautiful young people went on the show, and they could go into these booths where they couldn't see the other person, but they could chat to them, and they gradually developed relationships, and then they had to meet, and then I think immediately get married or something like that. And obviously, like, most of them just collapsed as well.
It's very much that aesthetic. It's like if you've ever watched an episode of The Bachelor. Like the Australian version of Married at First Sight is very much like that. Whereas the UK version is sort of, these couples are going to go live their lives, and they never meet each other. They just go off and live their lives. And you just sort of see it happen. It's still trash TV, but it's slightly more sympathetic, let's say. Whereas this is just how much can we cram into an hour?
I watch the shows like that. I don't watch much of them, but like the bits that I watch, and I just think it is all like fake, though, isn't it? Like they are planning it all and basically scripting it. Like, yeah.
I've mentioned this before, but I sat in on a talk some guest TV producers did at the media school where I work, and it was so depressing because they were talking about their process for developing hit shows like this, and it was trash. Like it was it parted the veil. Like it's utter trash. Like they just go, oh, how can we rip off what's already popular? And then we'll just you can make a show. It's like that. What was that thing you were complaining about, Rev, with the laminated sheets?
Wanted Down Under.
Yeah, it's like
Christ,
someone goes
that came on the other day. Jesus Christ, that show. Anyway, listen to episode whatever if you want to hear about that.
Be like 101 different variations on just dating, and it could be like, I swear there's been one where it's like you get to see their naked body from like the head down.
Naked Attraction.
Naked Attraction.
Yeah. It starts with their feet. This is what's so funny. Like all the people are in like booths, and there's like an opaque screen at the front of the booth, and it goes up one stage, and you can see all of their feet, and then they have to eliminate someone at that stage. So you eliminate a person based solely on their feet.
Imagine how much your confidence would take a knock if someone just just said, "Nah, you're all right," based
What is
purely
wrong
on your
with-
feet.
What is wrong with my feet? And then it goes up a level, and it's like, now you get to see their knees.
I don't have strong enough feelings about feet.
No,
To
but you have
discount
to
anyone-
choose.
unless
you
it's
have to
cloven
choose.
hooves. Yeah, unless they have like black fur.
And then you can see the bottom of a trident next to them.
Oh man! But then it's really awkward because when whoever it is, because they do the boys and they do the girls on that show, I think, and it's like whoever it is, once they get evicted, their whole screen goes up and they wander out onto the stage, not without any clothes on, and they just go, "Yeah, you can this one because of a like weird foot fungus." But, look at her face. You missed out on that, didn't you? And he's like, "Oh, shit. Oh, no."
The thing is, again, we're talking about these shows, and I'm admitting that I love one of them. So,
Fuck.
And I'm one of these shows' harshest critics, and I'm bloody loving it. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
I guess deep down we're all trash.
Yeah,
really.
I think that is
that's
what
the
I'm trying to
lesson.
say, yeah.
Well, if any of these shows want to sponsor us, that's
That'd
fine.
be excellent.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another one called like Dating in the Dark, where the whole
Yeah.
gimmick was you went on a date in pitch blackness?
Yeah.
What sort of date?
Don't forget, John, there was celebrity dating in the dark as well.
Oh my god.
But like,
Featuring
I think-
rejected apprentice candidates.
Celebrities.
Yeah.
But Nicholas, to
Clueless.
answer your question, I think it was like they've built a set
Yeah.
and it's like a restaurant.
Right.
You sit down at a table and they serve you a meal in pitch black.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anything worse than eating
There
a
are
meal.
there are
in pitch-
restaurants. There are restaurants like that, like proper, popular restaurants.
So wait, was the show filmed in night vision then, or something?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the producers would be watching. But like,
So
if
we
it's
could
soup or
see,
something-
but obviously they were all have the glowy eyes and the green stuff you only get with night vision.
I can't imagine eating a full-blown restaurant meal. 3 courses.
Is a
pitch-
rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
Like,
Imagine
Reach
trying to
out.
eat ribs. Imagine trying to eat ribs in that condition.
I don't know where the mess is. It could be everywhere. It is everywhere, probably.
And then they turn the lights back on and you're just covered in sauce.
Or it's like-
do you want a second date?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's like, oh, excuse me, darling, I'm having a lovely time. I'm just going to go to the toilet. And then it's like,
Oh, the
But then
toilet's
you
in
just,
pitch
you
black.
just hear oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. And then just a crash of plates flying everywhere.
and it's like, you hear a door shut. You just hear like, oh, oh.
Oh god, the toilet's pitch black as well. I hope I've not missed.
I'm just going to wash my hands. A doobity boo. Oh no.
The lights
Oh no, that
come
was
on.
the toilet and this is the sink. Oh no.
Oh no, I've shut in the sink again.
Yeah, like you said, excuse me, dear, I'm just going to go to the toilet. And as you say, you hear like clatter, clatter. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. A door opens. Then the lights come on and you're just like squatting on the table.
I'd watch that show.
I'd watch that show. Shitting
Yeah.
in the dark.
Yeah.
Sitting in the dark. Yeah.
Well, that would be it. That would be one. Love on the lav,
Love
and it
on the
would be
lav.
like these couples are meeting while each having a shit in a communal toilet.
Cubicles side by
They
side.
can only talk
getting there.
from
We're getting there. We're not far
behind
off.
cubicle doors.
Yeah. But you also have to listen to their bowel movements and judge
smell
them
it.
based on that. And smell it, of course.
And
I like the idea of like a dating show, but both participants are absolutely off their face drunk. Like can barely string a sentence together.
Punch drunk love,
Punch drunk love.
we
Done.
go.
punch drunk love, and
There's 3 stages to the show. The middle stage is what we've just discussed. The first stage is somewhat violent. Horrifyingly so. But the third stage is where it all comes back together again.
And then they wake up the morning after with no memory of what they've done. Traffic
But
cones
a
everywhere.
lot of bruises, though.
Yeah.
I've got a love.
All right.
This is going to be a relatively quick one because it's really just a recommendation. I've been playing a great video game
A video game.
called Lair of the Clockwork God,
Oh.
and it is genuinely hilarious. And I would just like to recommend it because it's not often that you get like a funny game, like a game that can just genuinely stand on its own as a piece of comedy.
very true.
And it is very, very good. I'd just like to recommend it.
You did mention this to me before, and it does sound very, very good. And I think I
Well-
might check it out.
I feel this is going to be wasted on Chris Ray.
Yes, very much so.
Because it's the salt of the earth.
Yeah.
It's a couple of guys called Ben and Dan who over 10 years ago made an old school game you could play online about two characters called Ben and Dan.
Oh, that's original.
And it's very British, and it was like a kind of a point and click adventure game.
Yeah.
Do you remember, Rev, when you were young?
I remember playing a game called Toonstruck.
I was going to bring it up. Toonstruck, yes, that was a point and click game.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Okay. Well, basically, now,
You
10
point
years
and
later.
you click in it.
I know, yeah, I understood the reference.
Oh, okay.
Well, 10 years later.
Thank you, though.
They've made 10 years later. They've made a sequel or a trequel. It's the third one.
Oh,
treacle.
And it's insanely well made. It just looks incredible. And the two main characters, they're getting older. And Ben is a traditional point and click guy, and Dan wants to move with the times and become a platformer. And so
this is the game.
This is the game.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So they each refuse. They will only do their type of gameplay. So you can jump between them. So one guy is like controlling Sonic the Hedgehog, and the other guy is like controlling a point and click adventure. And it's really genuinely funny. And they swear. So it is a little rude, but they're not swearing all the time. So when they do swear, it's very funny. It's like
it's very funny.
there's the gimmick is, for various absurd reasons, they have to go inside a computer repeatedly and do themed levels around different human emotions in order to teach the computer about human emotions, so it will learn how to be a human. It has to teach the computer the 11 human emotions.
Okay.
And like this, one of them is fear, one is joy, one is called feeling old. There's a whole episode about trying to get into a club and having to convince the youth that you're hip. And I'll give away 2 jokes, and there's a ton of jokes, so this won't be a big spoiler. But there's an episode called Rage, which is meant to just make you angry. And it's a really hard platforming level.
Of course.
And like you're playing as Dan, and you're just trying to get across this level, and like you're jumping, and it's really, really hard. And every time you die, he's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And at one point, I'm going through the level, and I see like a little question mark block, and it looks just like it's come out of Mario. And I jump to hit it, and I die by cracking my head open on it, and it just goes, fuck my head. And there's a later episode, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's very funny. Ben, who solves everything through like having an inventory full of items, always has an item called bladder. So you always have a bladder, and like at one point in an early level, your bladder is full, and you've got to like drain it.
Oh no!
But the mission is like you have to find a place where you can take a piss. But he says he'll only piss in toilets and graves. Like he won't piss. He says he won't piss anywhere else. And then later on, a long time passes, and then you're on the grief level, which is and it's incredibly emotional because like, somebody's died, and you're at the funeral, and you're trying, and then the puzzle involves that you have to get the coffin out the funeral. Let me start again. You have to get the coffin out of the grave.
Right.
And it's like, I was at that puzzle for ages, and I was like, I can't work out how to get this, this coffin out.
Got to piss in
And then I look in my inventory, and I've got a full bladder. And then I remember that Ben will only piss in toilets and graves. So you have to piss in the grave to make the coffin float. It's so good. It's so clever.
That sounds great.
Genuinely hilarious. So that's my recommendation. Go get it. Go play it. Go love it. It's very, very good.
Okay.
Splendid.
I shall. Well, my love is also quite brief. It's very specific, but I'm going to tell you it anyway. I had a dream the other night. And
I have a dream.
And I woke up and I just couldn't quite believe that this is what I dreamt. And I just have to share it to you because I loved it. And it makes me smile every time I think about it.
This is worrying me already.
You just love this dream.
I just love this dream. And
love this dream.
It's a very
love
simple
the
dream
so much.
All the dream is that I was walking downtown, just walking downtown, looked up, I see an advert billboard, and it's a Nintendo advert, and all the billboard consists of is a big circle in the middle, and Luigi's there in the middle of our green brother plumber, and he's there, he's smiling at the camera, he's got his thumb up, and And running along the bottom of the ad is just an official announcement from Nintendo that just says, Luigi is now gay. And that was it. That was it. Nintendo had taken out billboard space nationwide to announce to the world that Luigi is now gay. And all the dream was is me seeing that billboard, and I turned to Ali and just went, the language choice is strange, isn't it? Because that suggests that he wasn't, but now he is. That was what I was concerned about the billboard.
God. Such a mundane. I think you woke up.
And then I woke up and I was like,
I bet you it was such a memorable dream.
I can still see it so clearly.
Oh god.
So yeah, whew, that's it.
I wasn't
That's all I see.
expecting that to go that way.
Luigi is now gay.
Oh, incredible.
So there you go.
What a way to find out.
I know, exactly. Yeah. It was... Oh, man. I don't know.
Do you ever wonder, like, just like you see a big budget movie and you're like, and it's shit, and you go, oh god, I can't believe so much money was blown on that.
Yes.
You get a dream like that, and you ever feel like, I can't believe so many neurons had to die to bring that message to me.
Yeah. That was what my brain dedicated all of its power to while I slept.
This is all my brain could come up with.
It's like you're lying in bed, and it's like, turning off the light, and you go, Nick, you've got a lot going on at the moment. You've been working really hard. Let's just have some decent downtime, proper just relaxation. Time to switch the old brain off.
That's what I get.
Luigi is gay.
It's now gay. That's what I love so much about. It's specific.
And even in the dream, you're just like, huh. Oh. You wake up.
Oh, there you go. It sort of made a kind of sense.
And then you walk into town in real life and you see an even more interesting billboard.
So yeah, I'll leave you with that
very
one
good.
to think about.
Well then. Oh, what a nice note to end on. On that note, what do we think won? Love or hate?
Well, I am very happy for Luigi.
He came out nationwide.
But seeing as my love was also kind of a hate, I'm going to go hate.
Oh, well, I'm going to go love.
I think I'm going to go love as well. Look, a lot of Bontham's died to get that message to Nick's brain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we should honour it with the right kind of respect.
Oh, well, that was magical. That really made me smile. I don't know why.
It did when I woke
I'm
up.
glad, I'm glad you were last, actually, because I think that would have probably cast a shadow over the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, it probably worked out quite well, that, didn't it?
I've just written a note here. I've just got Luigi, arrow, gay. Like this.
Yeah, I've written on my piece of paper, Luigi is now gay.
Yeah.
Which also has a lot of work stuff on it, so I should probably find a way to get rid of it.
Oh no, I put that on an official form.
What's the rest of your week looking like? What have you got to look forward to? Anything?
I'll be watching football online, as I do so often these days.
Oh.
That's about it. We do some dog walks,
Nice.
as we do most days. Yeah.
I'm gonna probably do some DIY at the weekend. Try and sort the hall out, lay a bit of carpet, put up a mirror. Ooh,
It's all good. It's all happening.
it's all happening.
I dug a hole in the garden today.
That's
Not
on
for
your
any
Instagram,
reason.
isn't it? It's on your Instagram. I saw it.
Yeah.
For anyone who wants to see the hole.
On a previous episode, I talked about the joy of cutting a perfectly square hole. This
did.
time, I've cut a snaky.
It's a path.
trench.
I think a hole is doing it a disservice, actually.
Well, it's technically a hole. It's a shallow, long hole.
Is there going to be some concrete going in there?
God, no. I've broken enough concrete in the garden. Probably gravel. Probably gravel.
That's a good idea.
I guess it beats being on TikTok. We're all just going to be doing very middle-aged things for the weekend.
I guess. Well, I will be on TikTok as well. Just checking in on the ghost guys. But yeah. Sure.
Well, on that note, this has been an absolute pleasure. nice to have some light at the end of the tunnel. It's nice to know that Luigi is finally self-actualized.
Yeah.
How are we gonna wrap this up?
Get on the Facebook and leave us some loves and hates.
Oh yes.
You sons of
Yeah,
guns.
come on in.
But don't seek us out to complain.
No.
Especially if it's spoiler related.
Yeah.
Because Chris
Yeah.
will lose his shit at you.
Oh,
And bring some photos of your bad raisins.